We're on the air. Welcome everybody to the Safe Cafe number 5. I'm David Lassoff, your host, with my co-host Tim Coomber. And yay! I want to wait a second. This recalls for a moment. I'm sorry. We just have to do this because we're making we're making history tonight. And Dawn Layton is our first person who of the opposite sex who has been on our show. So she gets 2 rounds of applause. Okay, enough of that stupid stuff. But anyway, hi Dawn, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, David?
I'm great. Tim, how you doing tonight?
I'm really good, my man. Fired up, ready to rock and roll.
Okay, cool. Well, tonight's a really great Safe Cafe. If you ask me, we're starting to get into the... I think that tonight really is the night where we're starting to get into the rhythm of what this thing is all about. We could talk about anything that has to do with the rise and development of the Safe Network and the SafeCoin economy, the extraordinary, unstoppable, peaceful, and effective 99% revolution. But tonight, I guess our special topic tonight is about the arts and how the arts will impact the Safe Network and how the Safe Network will impact the arts, because it does go both ways. And for those of you who listened to Safe Cafe number 4, where we were having a lot of technical difficulties and you had to put up with just looking at me because I couldn't get Dawn and Tim on with me. By the way, brings me to a point, I just want to say it on air so it's recorded here. If you're trying to get on one of these Hangouts, you need to do it via a Chrome browser, because the Google Hangouts function will mess with you if you don't use a Chrome browser. It's easy enough for most people to use one. But anyway, that was the technical glitch that we discovered tonight. So, and so this is really cool because Tim and Dawn are both up in Scotland, in Gourock, where it's a little town not too far from Troon, and where the MadeSafe headquarters is located. And that's exciting for us because I know that that'll give us a lot of inspiration with you guys being so close to the headquarters. So, I want to hear from both of you tonight. I want to hear what your thoughts are. I'm a little tired of talking so much from last week. So, without further ado, let me just throw something out there. How do both of you see that first question, how the arts are going to impact the Safe Network, and how do you think the Safe Network will impact the arts? And you can throw anything else into that you want to, because I know, Dawn, you have an interest about education too, so feel free to throw anything into that mix. Go ahead. Whoever wants to start.
Silent.
I think you should start.
I was just saying today before we went on air that
Is your volume up?
yeah, my volume's up. I was just saying to Dave on air before we went on that I gave the analogy, which I did in Safe Cafe too, for all those people who watched, that we're at the time of the car makers. This is 100 years ago. And project yourself 100 years back. And we've just discovered, like we are now, we're sitting in a room, we've discovered that we've this thing called the engine. Now the world we're living right now, I know I am, I know David is, and I know Dawn is, that we're kind of excited about the future. Now that's a whole area of why we're excited about the future, because we're seeing the engine, thinking, put it on some wheels, and people are saying to us, do you know you can go and drive, and who knows what you're going to make. Now that's where we're seeing it. Now, why it's to me is important at the arts, and that's why I think I'm here. I say to everybody I meet when I talk to this about, I'm here. My dirty, big, sticky feet are all over this. You know, I'm here as the artist. This isn't, and the reason I think it is important, and I think the reason I keep going back to the car analogy is that I said this last time, is that it's imperative we get this done, and it's imperative that this happens in our watch, because it's going to be like the car engine. You can have a lot of people sitting around and they'll talk about, oh, I want the V6 compared to the V8. Oh, no, they're trumped by the V10. It's not important to me. To me, I see the car engine, I see some wheels, and I don't just see a car. I want to put some wings on it and just go and fly. And that's what the creative mind brings. I mean, it was the same when in the first Enlightenment, there was a printing press, and what that printing press did was, okay, they were just printing a few Bibles and a few documents for the establishment. And then along came some artists and they started putting out. And before you know it, Dürer's making prints that are changing the world. Now that's why it's important, because you're only going to get a certain amount of people that are going to be interested in car engines. There's only a certain amount of people who are going to be interested in cryptocurrency, in developing. To make something cross over is going to take people who are creative, who are on the edge, I suppose, of things. It's, you know, it's like with guitars have been around for thousands of years, but why do we all know? You know, it wasn't till Elvis Presley or till, you know, Motorhead even picked up the guitar and changed the whole format of what we like. This is what we need, because I'm more imperative that this isn't just left in the world of people who, I don't know, are stuck into formulas and stuff. Because I tell you one thing, that I'm fully comprehend what May Safe and what David Irwin and the team in Troon have done. But I'm also fully aware that we could be sitting around here and we could be sitting around here talking in the talk box. Someone will do it. If we don't do it, someone else will do it. And if May-Say doesn't happen, something else will happen. This is an inevitable part of human history. And it's important we get the creative people there, because, and like, it is all everything. And that's why I'm so impassionate. A, because I'm here. Hey, no one gave me permission to be here, but I'm here. And I'm going to make something on this, because for too long, too many people have been left on I call it the battlefield of conflict. I was mentioning to David earlier on that even in this world we live in now, where digital copies have been made, Apple will take 30%, and I repeat, 30%, just to take that copy of that digital file, put it into their storage basin, if they even have one, and then charge someone to take it back at the other end. Now, that's well and good, but to get on that, you've got to be, then it makes you have a whole different plan if you're a musician. Because you've got to think about audiences and targets and who you're going to upset and who you're not going to upset, and sponsors and X and X and X and X. And I was saying to David earlier on, that's great. So we live in a world now where, and that's great, I haven't got nothing against what people listen to. They can listen to whatever they like. But there's so much talent that has been wiped off from this battlefield. This is lying on the floors. And I was saying to David earlier on, you know, this is the different. The people I speak to, they haven't got the, oh, I've got a degree and my life's going to be set out in a nice, comfortable existence, and I've got a nice, I'm talking about kids who are, it's either this, or they're on the streets. And I'll tell you something else as well. I mean, so why I'm passionate about it is, I was talking to someone 2 weeks ago, and he said to me, if I'm not in a band, and I'm not doing what I'm doing, I have dark thoughts. And this is human beings we're talking about. And this is why it's beyond made safe. It's beyond, we're talking about human beings. And this is where we're at where we are in life now. There's a clear choice. There's a choice between freedom and the decentralized world we're going to walk into, and everybody else. And I'm here and I'm saying to you that people I know, we're the future ones. And we need the world being building. And that's why I can't do it. Just like Jury doesn't know how printing press works. I'm just asking for people, and I'll give this call out again. Come and join me. But please, all I ask is, be 100% there. It's an analogy of, if you put your compass towards true north and you're 1 degree away from where we are, by the time we get to the destination, you're going to be miles apart. So understand it. And I can't understand anyone that's watching this, listens to this, picks up it's anywhere I understand, and doesn't understand the concept of decentralization and what that's going to do. Now, I don't know what it'll create. That's like saying 150 years ago, what will the world be after cars? I don't know. But I know it's an inevitable fact that this is going to happen, and that it'll happen even for us. And if we don't do it, the companies that have ruined all this will step in. So it's got to be left to us. Anyway, rant over.
That's cool. It's remarkable to me that how should I put it? Hey, Rich, beer is on. You need a special link to be on, and Rich, you should email me, and you and I can talk about that. I'd love to have you on.
Rich, got to say, Rich is another perfect example. I mean,
yeah.
I've had a bit of contact with Rich, and he's another one. He's made film. He does photography, and he's just another person like me. And it amazes me that another artist, creative type, he's in here talking about it. So what is that telling us? That we're here now. It's a force of numbers. In this conversation, there's an artist. I don't know an artist, a creative type is listening. So hey, we're here. But we need the other side, and I'm sure if Rich was on the phone now, he'd be telling it in his American accent, and he'd be saying it probably even more eloquently than I am. That we're crying out for people. Sorry.
No, you're cool.
That's where Dawn and people like comes in.
I know. We're gonna give Dawn the floor in a second. I just want to say, Rich, definitely get a hold of me so you and I can do a private hangout, and then if you want to, do one of the talking heads next week or soon thereafter. He also asked who are the developers behind Studio99 and Network99. Well, you're looking at them, and we are in the process of talking to, I can't tell you who, because they are not yet decided that they're going to do it yet. But we are talking to coders and programmers, and we absolutely need the guys that will make this operational. I'll probably share with you before the end of this broadcast a few basic ideas about what I consider to be a minimal viable product. They call it an MVP in the coding world, just to get this thing up and running. An engine and four wheels, as Tim would like to discuss. Not a super fast Ferrari yet, but something. And I think that we're in the ballpark of what we need to be doing. I'm going to let Dawn talk in a second, but Tim's comments, I just want to say, really motivate me, because it is more than just a new technology. It is about freedom. It is about empowering people who have been left behind. It's about giving people their fair due. And I think if I can just say, the whole idea behind Studio99 and Network99 is to empower artists to both create and to distribute their own art, and to earn a living doing it, rather than giving their stuff away or having to share big portions of income that are based on users having to pay to download or view or listen to that content. We're talking about users being able to download, listen, or view content or participate in content in certain multimedia formats for nothing, for free. We want people to come on and enjoy that. Why can we do that? Because it's the genius of the system. The network pays us in SafeCoin, and we want to turn SafeCoin into a world-class, viable digital cash currency that has superior monetary value. An alternate economy gives people the real opt-out, opt-in option. I've talked enough. Dawn, what are your thoughts about this?
My thoughts on it, building on Tim's, are that music and art is a quick way to get people to use the network, the general public using the network.
Yes, ma'am.
And the more people we get on the network as quickly as possible, the stronger the network will be.
Absolument.
And the way to get people onto that network, if we go back to when the internet first came out, the first things that people were doing on the internet, the general public, was the likes of YouTube, sharing music, sharing videos, sharing their creativity. Not only people who make a living from it, but people who expressing their creativity. And that is an important element of humanity. If we can get people expressing their creativity, we can get people onto the network using that creativity. We make the network more diverse, stronger, quicker than with any other highly specialized software that we would offer, because those things can come later. Going back to the 4 wheels and an engine, we need something out there that's going to bring people in and get them experiencing the value of what the Safe network is, and how, with SafeCoin integrated into the network, how secure, how safe, and how profitable within the SafeCoin economy being creative will be, but also participating in the network will be. And the more that happens, the more people talk about it, the more it spreads, the more people we get online, the more chance we have of getting our freedom.
Yeah, damn right.
You know, not to overinflate your ego, Don, but I'm convinced that that's probably the most important thing that's ever been said on the Safe Cafe.
Amen, brother.
Would you agree, Tim?
Exactly. See,
I just absorb what you guys say and sum it up.
Yeah, but I mean, you said it like perfect, because I mean that's what this is. That's what we're you know, that's what this is all about. You know, I can take a simple thought and turn it into a complex one.
We all can, and we have to restrain ourselves and keep focused on what the goal is.
Yeah, and to me, you're just spot on. That is the goal, is to get as many people as we can using the network for a variety of reasons why that's good and healthy and the best situation. Among those reasons will be to increase the value of the network itself, and that value will be reflected in the value of SafeCoin as it is eventually traded with other alt currencies and dollars and pounds. What? I'm sorry?
So it's in everybody's interest for the network to grow.
Everybody's interest. And the beautiful thing is that, you know, I'm going to talk about another comment that Rich just made in a second. You know, just like using the cars as an example, you know, there must be in the world today, I don't know, probably 20, 30, somewhere between 20 and 30 car manufacturers in the world, I'm guessing. That's probably fairly accurate. I'm just off the top of my head. Let's just say 20, you know, if that's all there is. You know, and we're talking about an undiscovered, infinite new universe. That's what we're inventing here. And we're talking about, there's plenty of room for a lot of creative ideas. Network99 Studio99 just maybe might be one of the first. But this network is so vast in potential when you think about the billions and billions of people that. By the way, 2000. If anybody doesn't know this or not, 2014 was the year. We've already passed the point, but this was the year that internet access on mobile devices finally exceeded things like laptops and desktops and computers. This is the year that the internet became accessible more on a mobile phone or a small tablet than other things. I've seen the graphs. There are people in the world that have never sat at a computer ever, that now, because of smartphones, are able to access the internet for the first time in their life. And we heard it last night in the Safe Pod in San Francisco and Montreal. David and Viv were explaining exactly why it's possible to sign in on the network and actually utilize and function with the network with a small device, having superior connectivity, being able to even provide storage and computing power with that small device linked in concert with other small devices. So we're not limited to there's not anyone who thinks that we need to resurrect the personal computer to make this work doesn't understand the network. That said, I think we'll see a resurrection of the personal computer because the desktop has a big fan motor and you can leave it on. So I think people who want to farm for SafeCoin will go out and buy a small desktop and hook a terabyte or two up to it and they'll be happy. Rich asks or comments, I've heard David Irvine reference a collaboration with Invictus. Invictus is BitShares, and that's another cryptocurrency on the regular Tier 2 internet, which is actively working on a way to allow artists to share and promote their work. Do you know anything about this? No, I don't. Be interested in hearing about that. Tim, I know, being up your way, one of these days you can think about bringing some beer down and talk to Dave and see what he has to say about that. Again, that goes into my comment. If they're working on some other alternative to what we're doing, that's no threat. We're happy. The more the merrier. The more people are doing to empower people, give them options. It's a new world. Cooperation and collaboration is the new model. We don't need to. May the best applications win. May the most, the most pleasant and beautiful user experiences win out in the day. But I don't want to see. What I want to see is an end to things like the Apples of the world taking, a third of the share of what a small artist is doing.
And can he repeat it?
Yeah.
That's 30. That's 30% for a digital copy. I mean, they're not even making a CD. It's a digital copy for them to store it in a vault. I mean, this is why it's important. I mean,
well, that's what I mean. Your point is well taken. It defines exploitation. It's saying I'm the big guy on the block, and I'm going to bully my way through life and make you pay because I've got all the channels and you don't. See, this is we're talking about an entirely different model. And
but the world needs the new model because that model is going to fall over because they're running out of capacity. Right. They can't keep putting things on servers because they haven't got the capacity and it costs them more to maintain and more to run. Cloud servers, maybe they'll get there at some point, but they're not there yet. And so those kind of services where it's centrally held and it's on a server, they are going to get more and more expensive. They are going to take bigger and bigger cuts because that's their financial model.
Yeah, and it's sad too for the user, because the user has to buy things in order to fund that big behemoth server farm, and the artist has to be exploited. I mean, it's completely unsustainable and flat out wrong. You know, I mean, people sometimes shy away from discussions on morality, what is right and what is wrong. But I think, you know, if you have a sense of what you know, when you have a sense of justice and what you think is right and good versus something that isn't, you have to stand up and say so. So that's what this is. This is a moral question.
It goes beyond morals. It's what you're describing is somebody who is putting their, like we live in a world now where people are putting for their own advantage. I mean, there's two ways of making money. I could either generate my own money, generate my own resources. I can, for instance, I'm a painter. I paint. I can generate my what I do, and then I can open it up to the free market and say, who wants to pay me for whatever it's worth from the generation I've made. That's one way of making money, or living in the world. The other way, which is what we're living in now, is saying, I'll steal it. I'll steal my resources. They come along, steal my resources for their own benefit. Now, this is not only as an artist, it's for everything. This is the world we live in. That's why it's not only is it a moral question. This is I don't know, I talk about it a lot. It's unnatural.
Yeah.
Nature. The one tree won't boss the field. Nature has a way of clearing things, and then they all work together for their own benefits and their own needs, and we all agree with, and we all understand that. And the people that your Apples of the world, they're just standing in the way of a natural expansion of what's going on. Now, and that's where I stand as a creative element, because the creative element was the same people that were. They were there when the music started. They always want to push the edge. They want to use these tools for things that they were not designed to be used for. And by doing that, an explosion of new ideas happens. And not only, as I was saying before, not only is it a moral question of well, we have rights and wrongs. It's about, if we don't do this and we just allow it to continue, we get what we've got now. And I'm old enough to see what this originally started as and what it is now. And if we don't step into the breach of where it is now, because this is going to happen. I gave an example, a perfect example, that Apple, they went to Sony in the late 90s, and they said to Sony, oh, there's this thing called MP3 players, and we're going to start selling our music on MP3. And Sony was saying, well, don't even come back to us until you've got 30% of the market of MP3. We're not even going to do anything with MP3 until there's 30% penetration of the MP3 product into the market. By the time that got to 30%, Apple, they were billionaires, because they staked their claim early. And it's the same how, because they knew that was inevitable. It's all right. It was all right, like Sony saying, "Oh well, no, but CDs are the future, and record discs, my young man, they shall go back, and the gramophone, oh, that is the future." Now, people like us, we realise it. Now, we're not visionaries. I'm not a visionary. All I know is I speak to everybody I speak to in my circle, and they know it's coming. This is going to happen. And what I mean about it's going to happen in the inevitability is that the people who are stood in the way, like you were saying, the moral questions, they're going to collapse. They're collapsing everywhere. Now, if we don't allow this to happen and we just sit back, do you know what will happen? They get greedier, they get more powerful, because these people are parasites, and they're psychopathic people who have got to top of power systems. and they don't they don't give a crap about us at the bottom. All they care about is making to do what they do. And if we don't stand up, and if we just all hide around and make about, well, all I'm bothered about is my V12 engine over my V612, we're going to be sat here. And we're not going to be sat here. That's the trouble. We won't be sat here. We'll be in concentration camps. We'll be sat in North Korea, because this is what the world has always been. I'm English. And if we didn't stand where we did in 1945, I wouldn't be sitting here now. This is why it's so crucial. Because if we just back away now and go, oh, well, okay, I'll accept a bit of the centralisation. I'll accept a bit of that. Oh, I don't mind the people in control taking only maybe 5% of me because I don't. No, that's what leads to tyranny. And I ain't going to be leading to tyranny. And this is the route out of tyranny. And not to grab it with both hands and run with it, it's foolish. It's foolish. And it's not only is it a moral question, it's against what's nature. And that's why I keep saying, this is inevitable. This is inevitable. It's going to happen. And if we don't make it happen, it'll be inevitable. They will make it happen, and they will control it all, and we won't be sitting having this conversation anymore. And I don't want to live in that world.
No, me neither. And you know, the thing is I have a sort of, you know, you pretty much hit on it. One of the reasons why I'm so passionately attached to this project is that I've always believed that artists have been on the leading edge of societal change and the kinds of social revolution that you know tend to shake up the status quo so that some kind of positive evolution can happen. I don't think we'd be here right now ready to grasp this moment if it wasn't for the artists of the world. So I want to go back, tap into that, and say, artists, here it is. You know, your time is overdue, people. You need to be treated with dignity. You need to be put on the pinnacle of this movement of transforming society from the model of tyranny and authoritarianism to the one of freedom and, you know, self-determination, where you can, you know, and we'll look back, I think. And by the way, I'm very hopeful. I'm urgent, like you, Tim. I think the time is now to seize the moment. Absolutely. There's no time to waste. There's no time to dick around. It's time to get off your ass and do something about it. And that's another thing too. That one of the reasons I started the Safe Cafe was, you know, I'm not interested in having academic conversations with people. I want people to get up and do something about what it is we got a handle, a hold of. And it's also about helping people understand what we got a hold of and getting them to understand it and to take action. Go do something with this. Don't sit here and go, oh, that's a nice idea. Gee, Tim, the boy, he sure knows how to give a passionate speech. You know, I mean, you do.
But I want.
But you want it. But I want it, and you want it to count for something. You want people like who's ever listening to this or who will listen to this go, damn, those guys, they see it. Wait a minute, what is it that they see? You know? And I'll tell you what I see. I see a revolution. And I see the artists of the world leading that revolution. And that's why I think these particular applications on the Safe Network are so crucial. And why, like you, I just want to get something up, and we can improve upon that, and we can go from there. But, you know, last night when David and Viv were talking, you know, they're getting closer to having that application programming interface up and available. And I'm not a programmer, but, you know, I've been talking to programmers, and when that thing's like live and available, I want our team to be coding. You know, let's get going, you know. And so right now, if you're listening and you want to be part of something world changing, we're asking you to join. I'm announcing the name of our team. It's called the BlueCollar Crew. The reason why I chose that name was because I wanted everybody to understand this was about work, and it was about getting something done. It wasn't about sitting around thinking about it. So I know there'll be need for different kinds of people, but what we need right now are programmers who get it, who can join our team and be richly rewarded, be able to be a founder of Network99, a founder of Studio99, which is a much more complex project. But our idea is to get the basic channels up that are going to be the first channels and the first parts of the application on Network99 available for users of the Safe Network to use for free, to watch for free, to listen to for free, to download for free, and for artists to get paid in SafeCoin according to all of that, and for the application developers to earn SafeCoin forever, as long as these applications exist and thrive on a safe network. Don, what's your thoughts?
Well, just building on what you two have said, really, we need developers. None of us are coders. We need people to work with us in an open value network, and we will want to bring in people with the skill set for the tool that we need to get up there, and we'll do the rest. We'll go out there, we'll find people to put material on, we'll contact people.
Very good, because
and the more people you get, your creative people, they'll bring people in. They'll bring their followers in. They'll bring, you know, a small band may bring initially 1,000 users in. But that's 1,000 people who are exposed to the network. It's people being aware of the network, so that they're aware it's there when everything else falls away, because that is coming.
Yeah,
and I don't want the people to be left behind.
No,
I want
brings
systems to be left behind, not the people.
That's good. That's a good way of putting that too. Yeah, I mean, there's an urgency in a certain sense to build something alternative, because the unsustainable things, the dinosaur systems, the authoritarian systems, can't last forever. So we need to. I think that this is the transition, and I'm looking for artists and coders. We are looking for artists and coders with vision to join us in this revolution that we're involved in. It's a peaceful revolution. No violence, no guns, no blood, just good music and nice films to watch, but you know, no censorship. It's like, you know, you can say the politically incorrect thing. There's nobody controlling that. You can you know, do whatever you want. It's whatever you make it out to be. Go ahead.
I'm always amazed that, to me, I can't believe that more coders aren't more excited than I am. I mean, I look at it as like, you know, as a musician, I give this, I use this example a lot, is that you show me a sheet of music and I can't read it. You give me a piano and I'll play. And it's like, I can't understand with the coders. They understand that what a piano can do. They could understand more probably than anyone else the frustrations of the centralized system. They can understand what it's like to have all that bureaucracy. And they must have, you know, with understanding all that, they must have much of a clearer vision. And I can't believe I'm having to sell this to a coder, but man, you could be like the I don't know, the producer to Elvis Presley. You must understand more what's going on, and the vision for them is like, gee guys, you could be in a world that you could be, you know, imagine sitting back 10 years ago and going, oh, now I've got this idea of Facebook. Well, is Zuckerberg, is he, you know, he's a happy man right now, isn't he? and this is what I can't understand the coders. It's like, come on, people. do you really think that your old internet of what's going on is going to last? And if you want to live in the world and go, well, I'm going to become a stagecoach driver and I'm going to make stagecoach the rest of my life, well, feel free, but the car's coming. And I don't understand the people who are developers. Man, your brain should be going boom, 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 excited, flaring up, because the potential for you to make what you've always wanted, and seeing you spend all your day making code, I talk to them, they sit there and making code. Well, this is your chance. I'm a creative person. I want, man, let's do it. I find it must be so many coders must really, really want this. And I can't understand the vision. Just think of it. Think of anything. You can create music. You can, like I'm saying with Network99. All right, man, go. If you don't like something, go and build it. Compete against what I'm saying. Come along and say to me, oh, what you're saying is rubbish. What we need is, we don't need a new YouTube. What we need is, come and tell me. But please, because if not, you're going to end up working for Apple, and you're going to have to answer to your grandchildren about why you work for Apple and not the New World, because this is a truly epoch moment of human history. I mean, I'm not overblowing this. I think that where we are at the moment with this, with the decentralization of the internet and what we're building. Put it another way. Try to imagine what the next step could be. Now, I looked at the internet as it is now and go, okay, what the next step will be centralized, will be taking all the power away from it, like I do in the whole world. Until the world's completely decentralized with everything, until we're all controlling our own lives, that's where we're going to get to eventually as human beings. But this is the epoch moment, because it's like, where are we going to go beyond this? I mean, once you've got a world that's connected and all the thoughts are connected, and I mean, David Irwin has mentioned it before. He said that he would love the idea of a Dropbox where he could speak to the Israelis and the Palestinians, or people in conflict could speak to each other, and how much the world would change. Now, this is where we're at, and this is where it's an epoch moment, because there's the next level of the internet. What is that? And this is where people who are excited now can jump on. Because there's not going to be a chance in 10 years' time. They're going to look back and go, oh, I wish I'd been in 2014, and I wish I'd done it then. Well, good luck. Now, don't regret your life. The only thing you regret in your life is what you don't do.
Hey, does everybody still see Tim? Is everybody still seeing Tim?
I was getting just his logo for a bit, but he keeps coming and going. We've got a storm blowing over. So maybe that.
Okay, well, there's Francis Brunel checking in from Canada. Hi, Francis.
Hi. Is it working?
Yeah. How you doing, man? Doing all right?
Yeah. Good. You?
Good. Very good. Rich Beer writes in: are any of you using Liberty.me? I would like to start getting the word out through that social network. Well, that brings me to a good idea that I want to talk about just a bit. And we who are developing the Suite99 set of applications, we want somebody who's really savvy with social networking involved. We need somebody on the team. I think it's somebody in their 20s, to be honest with you. So that we're definitely looking for that. Rich, also, by the way, Tim, if you can hear me. Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool. But your videos, something's weird. It's like whenever you talk, I get a blank screen.
It's the system. They don't want me. It's the power.
Yeah, it's the powers that be. You started to change the world, and they couldn't hack it anymore. They're hacking you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wanted to tell you, Tim, that Rich wrote in. I gotta find it here. He loves your work, man, and he says art is our greatest reference to our past.
Damn right.
And oh, now you're back. That's great. You look good. So you know, so this is where we're at with you know.
You're breaking up, David.
Okay, can you hear me now or not? Can you hear me or not? Yes, no, maybe
Yes, I can
so.
hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. This is where we're at. It's time to seize the day, and so we're looking for people to join our crew, the BlueCollar crew, and yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to ask Francis, because I'm going to ask the question that I get asked a lot. Francis, what I get asked a lot by people I meet with. I mean, what can we do? What can people like me and the creative team that I have around me? What can we do right now? What are the very practical things that we can do? Because you're the person that's going to know. Because you're at the other end. You're at the coal face. Talk to me, my friend.
I think the best way is to get involved in the forum, madesafe.org. It's for everyone, not just programmers. But at this point, the main people are really programmers that should be looking at the API project. For example, yesterday we were working on the example to create an account and log into the network. So I'm not sure how people who are not developer can help at the moment. They can.
Hey, Francis. This is David. I want to ask you,
Yeah.
based on that conversation last night, what's your best read about when Viv and his gang are going to have that API up for guys that want to code in maybe C or Python or JavaScript?
Well, as I understand, the API is already there. It's just they're working on the tutorials, and it's gonna be officially available, I think, in 2 or 3 days, the first tutorial. But there's gonna be more every week. But I'd say in a few days it's gonna be a good time to do a wrapper for another language, any language you want.
Okay, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I got a favor to ask you. Can you remember that I asked you this? And when you know that tutorial is somewhat user-friendly for other coders, when you see it and go, you know what? I know guys in this language could code right now into this. Would you let me know about that?
When the tutorial is available?
Yeah, I mean, you'll be one of the first that I'm sure will be getting into that. I think you'll even be before the guys in San Francisco. My read on it. I could be wrong on that, but I kind of get that. And it's no offense to anybody, but I know that Paige is not a programmer like you are, so that's why I'm asking you rather than her. You could let me know that.
I'm sure everybody is gonna know when it's gonna be posted on the the weekly developer update. It's
sure, yeah.
It's awkward because usually they do one every Saturday, but they didn't do one this Saturday. It breaks the chain. It was like a few months chain, I think.
Okay.
So, but hopefully we'll see one in the tomorrow or something.
Yeah, just shoot me off. Just shoot me off a quick email or whatever. Just if you get something.
Sure.
That'd be great. Yeah, we're just having a great time tonight, Francis. We're talking with Rich Beer, and he's writing lots of really interesting questions. We're having lots of great discussion about how we all feel like the arts tonight will music and video, film and that sort of thing will be a great catalyst to getting lots of people involved.
Yes.
While you're on, Francis, if you'd like to tell us how your team is coming along with getting familiar with the basics of what it is to get their head around what it is you guys are going to have to do. How's that coming?
Well, right now we don't really have a team. For example, yesterday it was all new people at the meetup. They were developers, but they're not familiar. So my plan at the moment is before starting to really work on projects, I'm working on a conference that's going to be maybe in 2 or 3 months. I'm even thinking to do it at the same time as the launch of the beta so that it's really big. And it's going to be a conference specifically for developers. So that way I can launch my SafePod with maybe dozens of developers who want to be there full time. So we're going to do 5 presentations like I talked at your last Safe Cafe. The first one is going to explain why MadeSafe is such a big deal. The second one is going to explain the difference between ant technology and blockchain technology. The third one is going to do a live demo of like how to build an application and what type of application we can build. The fourth one is going to be a Q&A with David Irvine for developers who have very specific questions. And the fifth presentation is going to talk more about the structure of the SafePod and how we're going to start working right away, like on big projects. So right now it's way too early. There's maybe like we're just 2 developers working on a Firefox extension, but it's too early even to do that, to do a bridge between the Safe network and the web browser. So all we can do right now is check the forum and see what's coming.
Okay.
Is that
that's a good summary. And
okay?
when you get closer, please keep me informed so I can let
Sure.
people know on my end. Do as much as we can so we can coordinate communications and that kind of thing. I think it's important.
Yeah.
I think what's important it's one of the things I like to talk about really while Francis was here is trying to find a common language, because we're all here right now talking, and I think I mentioned this to Francis before, that when I look at C++ and Python, it's all new language to me, and we're all got a lot in common, and that's why I want to be so open to Francis and people like that, because I want to learn so much, because I want to be able to create with them, and it's finding that common language. So it's an interesting concept. I'd like Francis to basically give you from his angle, because he's the only one amongst us right now who's doing developing and coding, and what that's what I'm trying to say. It's finding ways that me and him and people like us can grow together and build, and I'm interested to know what he thinks about it from his angle, because from the developer's angle.
You mean how we can collaborate?
Yeah, just generally, because like I say, you have a language of C++ and Python. I have a language of Primaveras and yellow paint, but we have the same commonality of where we are right now. So it's fun to find a way that like I said, I have a lot of people that they want to be involved, but when I say to them, oh, it's about JavaScript, and like, oh, I'm a musician, man. I didn't study at school. I was playing music. I don't know about JavaScript, and that's what I'm trying to say. So from some of your angle, is there a way we can forge this connection? I mean, what can we do? That's why I'm asking.
But there's a lot of things people who are not developer can do. They can like help us test the application. They can be our first users, can give up very good feedback. Usually when I build application, people who give me feedback are not developers. They can help us with more like asset creation, like a logo or images, even sound. there's so much thing you can do. It's all, we just need a place where we can collaborate.
Exactly.
GitHub is a good place, but it can be scary for people who are not developers. So maybe I think the MadeSafe.org forum is a great place. There's a category called project, and there's even a subcategory on the Build It hub. And if there can be categories like that for every project, it's easy for people, everyone, to get involved.
Because
Yeah.
That's all.
go on, Dave.
No, I was going to say that Chadwick Mahaffey sort of pioneered that with David, not Irvine, I want to say Helwig is the proper pronunciation of his name, the administrator of MadeSafe.org,
Sorry.
to put in a subcategory for his project called Build It Hub. And
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
okay, and so we could do that. The most I think the most important thing we can do for people who get it is to tell other people about what it is that we get. And what I've noticed, and it's not really picking on anybody. I've just noticed it. I've noticed that there is not a universal appreciation, even in the circles of people who are familiar with MadeSafe, how just how absolutely disruptive this technology is, and they sort of oh, wait a second, here we go. Rich says, if you'd like me to create some logos about Network99 and a general info page online, let me know. All right, Tim. Handle that with Rich, please. Because you guys have been talking already. Go on a private hangout with him and start talking about doing some stuff. Yes, of course. Anyone can join our crew, and we'll talk to you more about that. Just let us know. Are you there, Tim?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is examples of what I'm talking about. That's what I was trying to say to Francis, because
yeah. Well, I just wanted to hang on a second. I just wanted to finish the idea, and then I'll let lose your thought. What I wanted to say was not just how disruptive it is, but how critically important is the notion that we have a cash proof of resource based coin that is tied to this thing, and that economic model changes everything in terms of what's possible. It destroys the whole paradigm of having to deal with advertisements, having to deal with big corporations stealing, a big portion of a creative person's income, and it destroys the in a healthy way. We're talking about creative destruction now. It destroys the situation where users have to pay to use an application with an application getting paid autonomously by by the Safe network. That model, you're talking about something that's so revolutionary that people barely even are thinking about it. Let me see. There's more here that I want to just talk about. How do you feel about creating an asset on Next to help fund Network99? Possibly. I'm open to it. Let's talk. Has anyone already procured the domains which will identify Network99? No. The reason why is that it exists on. We haven't really looked at it. I haven't really looked at it on the outside, but on the inside, we don't really know how things are going to be designated yet. Do we, Francis? Do we have anything that's like a similar to like a domain name system yet? I don't think we have that.
Not really. No.
Yeah. So no, to be honest with you, and the constructs have to be put into place. Obviously, I think by the end of testnet 3, they're going to have something. Wouldn't you think so, Francis?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a
Anyway,
thread they were talking.
What's that?
Huh?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying there was a thread on madesafe.org where they were discussing that they're probably gonna implement something like that, but they're not sure it's, because they see it as a new way, but they're probably gonna have at least a username that you can register. But it's really not clear how it's going to work, but there's discussion ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, the discussions about the distinctions between public and private kinds of information processing on the network didn't escape me last night. I mean, there's obviously going to be a need for things that are quite public, such as Network99 versus, somebody's private transaction or private email communication. There's a place for privacy and there's a place for publicity. The difference, I think people have to understand that. There's a place for privacy and there's a place for publicity. The difference between what we're doing with the safe network versus a lot of things in the world is that we're putting that control of that back where it belongs, and that's with the individual. The individual should be able to choose who gets to know his or her business, not have that privilege and right, and it is a right, it's a natural right, taken away from them. So, Tim, I want you and Rich, if you will please take it on to talk to Rich and start and maybe take some notes and figure out what we need to do next, and then Rich, we can do a hangout together and talk a little bit more about that. Why don't you try to set that up, Tim, if you would. You can go from there a little bit. He also writes, bro, just to show you the world. Oh, I corrected somebody today. Rich Beer writes, both Roger Ver and Vitalik, whatever his name, it's not written down here. I know who you're talking about, the Ethereum guy. Think MadeSafe is built on the blockchain. I read an article today about decentralized. What it was a poll to see who thought would win out in the world of decentralized technology. I don't know. It was kind of a silly article. Maybe it wasn't silly, but it wasn't very clear what they were trying to. The questions they were asking wasn't very clear, and it wasn't very specific. But the person commented that MadeSafe is a blockchain technology. So there are plenty of really smart people who don't know that MadeSafe is not a blockchain technology. So as regular people who are not developers and programmers, if you're watching this, you can help other people understand that Project Safe technology is not blockchain based, and that's an important distinction.
Francis, can I ask?
Yeah.
Sorry, Rich just bought. He goes, Rich just bought N99.co. Okay, man, good deal. That's great. Yeah, and so people, people need to be like that, where they take things on, and realize that, as Don pointed out in the front of this, we're going to create Suite99, Network99 Studio99. We're going to create an open value network, and that means that founders who are involved in this project, they're going to get a founder stake, and it's an open value network. It means that as you create value and add value, you get a share of the SafeCoin generated. And hopefully we'll gather a wise crowd very fast, because I don't have all the answers. None of us do. But I know that I have a skill set where I can add tremendous value to any project that I'm associated with, because I know how to think, and I know how to speak, and I know how to write, and I know how to promote, and I'm happy to do that. And any project needs that. I think that the creatives involved in this project, such as Don and Tim and other artists, will add a dimension of what is necessary to be able to make the product be user-friendly to artists and the users, who use them, and easy, intuitive, fun, interesting, just fabulous, and make you want to come back again and again. That's how I look at it, and that's what I really. And I'm open. By the way, I'm like. I think that what we're doing here, I sometimes say I, but I mean we, because the reality is that when this thing is successful, many people will have their fingers in it, and I just know that, and the project, these particular projects are so, to me, critical and big in terms of an initial impact. Don said it best. It's like this is at the front end so important that people have a reason to show up, to come use the network, and this is gonna be everything. And not only that, it's like people can get behind a good idea. Like, it's not just the idea of an artist. I mean, it's, first of all, at a very rubber meets the road level, it has to be that this is a way to treat an artist fairly and with dignity, and giving him or her the ability to earn a respectful living based on producing beautiful art. I mean, that's at the heart of it for me. But it's more than that, because the artist then becomes an instrument in his or her own right towards facilitating what I've come to call the 99% revolution. And I'm not kidding about that. Everybody who signs on to the Safe Cafe needs to understand a little bit about the guy who decided to do this. I'm not an egomaniac, but I don't mind telling you about me a little bit, because I think it's useful. And what I'm trying to say is that I want everybody to understand something. I'm fomenting a revolution. I'm talking about something that is so insidious to the powers that be. I'm talking about something that's so disruptive. And I don't care what people think. I don't care if people like it or not. If something like that scares you off, then I'm sorry about that. But when I say that, I know what the technology is all about, and I know what it will do. It is so powerful and so disruptive. It's going to change everything. And when we adopt this technology and we promote safe network adoption through the things that we do, we create a whole alternative that didn't exist before. This is very disruptive and against authoritarian regimes. So I'm not ashamed of it. It's peaceful. I don't advocate violence. Uh, but it's effective and it's unstoppable. Once people start opting out and opting in, you start not letting the powers that be control you. That's a powerful thing. And you have a different option. That's a powerful thing. The only way they can stop this, I suppose, theoretically, is they would have to, if it's even technically possible anymore, shoot themselves in the foot. Actually, shoot themselves in the heart, because they would have to take away their instruments of control over the other, 90% of the world that they're having some success with. You don't need a lot of people to foment a real revolution. You only need about 3%. And then it becomes unstoppable. It just spreads like wildfire because people realize what it is. And that just takes talking about it. That's just helping people come out of a fog. I think, with all due respect to the rising generation who are really smart when it comes to a lot of things, I'm not sure they have it. I'm not sure that rising generation has much of an expectation for privacy. So Francis, your work is cut out for you, man, with your friends and people that are in your age group, to help them understand that privacy really truly is a natural right, and that people don't, governments don't, advertisers don't, corporations don't have any right to invade your privacy, except that you let them, except that we have let them. We have let them invade our world. But maybe in the past, you could make a case and say, well, what alternative did we have? You might be right to make that case, because nobody can look around and see another alternative. But that's not the case anymore, or soon won't be. So maybe, people might accuse me of being a true believer when it comes to what the MadeSafe or what the Safe Network is all about, or what MadeSafe and Project Safe technology is all about, and believing in the economic model of the rise and development of a alternative SafeCoin economy. Maybe people would accuse me of that. I guess I would plead guilty, because I was talking to Nick Lambert the other day, and we were joking a little bit. I got a few words out of my mouth. I said, if you guys aren't the real deal, and he interrupted me and said, what are you going to do, come over and bonk us on the head? I said, no. I was only going to say, if you guys aren't the real deal, I don't think there's anything I do a lot of reading. I don't see anything in the pipeline that combines a truly autonomous, encrypted, serverless, self-authorizing, private, secure network with its own cryptocurrency. I don't see anything in development, and I look around. I've seen lots of things that claim to be offering decentralized solutions, but still depending on a public blockchain technology. I would be interested in being corrected if anybody ever has any information about that. But here's the other thing that's really interesting to me, is that with MadeSafe being open source, I don't know if anybody's thought about this yet, but I know David Irvine has. With this thing being open source, it becomes, I think it actually becomes possible for people to essentially copy it off and do it again, or do it better. I'm not so sure that's a bad thing, but I think he certainly understands that people can come along and, in a sense, take it and do, maybe make a different one. Well, imagine that. What were you going to say, Francis?
Yeah, that's possible. I'm going to do that depending on how it goes. But yeah, there's some things I don't like about MateSafe, but I don't want to go too into the details. But
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
know that
see
about
them
you. I know that about you.
in 2 weeks, I think. But I'm going to talk with them, so we'll see. And also, you say there's no projects similar to MateSafe, but I see at least 20 projects that achieve similar goals. But yeah, the MateSafe I really like because it's has a lot of a big community. But I think there's a lot of ways to achieve
Yeah,
what we want.
I think you're right. Uh, Rich says they hold several enforceable patents. Well, the foundation does. I know, but it doesn't mean that it can't be reforked. There's no, there's no. I mean,
Huh?
in the end, I think it can be. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have some interesting concerns. So, after you go to Troon, Francis, will you come on the Safe Cafe
Of
and
course.
talk to us
Yeah.
about how those conversations went, so that I can hear, so you get a good hearing, in a sense, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so please, after that, I want you back. Um, okay, Dawn. So what's going on? What are you thinking about listening to all this revolutionary talk and
Don't
how
get
it
me
all
started.
how it all applies to the world of what we're trying to do here? I guess the only thing I want to say, I'm going to let you talk in a second. In wrapping up what I just said, is that it's not that there isn't anything probably in development. I'm sure that there is, but David has been at it for 8, 9 years now, and there's nobody even close, I don't think, to the level of development at this point. I'm not saying it couldn't happen quicker or that there isn't others. It's just that I am not aware that of any that are ready as close as ready for prime time as this one. Maybe you know something, Francis. I don't know.
No, it's true that the others are much in earlier stages. They're not. But let's say for some reason the technology by MaySafe doesn't work. I think still not gonna be we're still not gonna be stuck with the actual system because there's a lot of effort right now going on to decentralize make decentralized applications a platform for that. So yeah, it's very hard to follow, but right now I
Here's,
can say that MadeSafe is the best approach, I think.
Well, you
that's
Francis, don't.
pretty much my thoughts on it. Go ahead. What?
I was going to say Francis would know more than anyone else. I mean, I was going to say to him, what are from a layman, from a perspective of just the everyday man, what is the dangers of it not ever whether made safe or someone else? What's the dangers? Tell me. What's the dangers of it not happening? I mean,
No,
I
no,
hear.
no. It's
No. What I'm trying to say is, we hear a lot about privacy. I mean, in this country, the government came in the other day, stole all our stuff, and they're making up election polls and stuff. And I'm asking, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really on the edge of development stuff. I mean, Francis, what would happen if this continues? If we don't do anything, what would the system collapse? Would they? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what from a technical point of view, how long do you think the internet, as it stands right now, would last?
Well, I think as it stands right now, there's a very good efforts right now to build alternative networks. So I think it's in good hands. The main problem I see is more for bandwidth. Like if we can have easier access to bandwidth, maybe with mesh networks. So that's my main concern.
I think
Okay.
I think the product itself is going to exist in parallel to any future developments for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that eventually the corporatocracy will be successful in peeling off the fastest fiber lanes on the planet for their own new and improved internet. Tier 3, it'll cost more. You'll pay to play, and you better be a Comcast or a Viacom or a Time Warner, these kinds of entities to be able, or a government, like the United States government, the NSA, or these kind of guys, to be able to afford to use it, I guess. But those are just speculations. David Yamanaka from New Mexico. Hello, David. He writes, if the SAFE network is successful, it will be forked for various reasons. We do have the first mover advantage, but there's much room for improvement. Anyway, I'm on the MadeSafe bandwagon because I think they're the furthest along. I happen to really like those Mad Scots too. I want to see David and Nick and Viv and Fraser and those guys be very successful at what they're doing. I like their approach and their willingness to give it away. I think they understand the power of that, and I think they're motivated by other things that are superior to making a buck. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with making $1 or £1 or €1. But I think that they're Scots. Maybe that's not all of them, but it's sort of that. There's a lot of libertarians among them. There's a lot of freedom lovers. Let's put them that way. Go ahead, Dawn. I cut you off. I want
No,
to
I think you're right. I think it's the Scottish side are in the whiskey, but it is that love of freedom, and because they've had it taken away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you've had freedom you appreciate what it is.
Yeah.
The world's ready for it because we've had our freedom taken away from it.
Yeah. And with all due respect, that people have different ideas. I happen to believe that, and again, I'm not a technologist, but I just look at it from a practical standpoint. When I started, just conceptually developing the notions of Network99 and Studio99, just the response I'm getting from artists everywhere that they're just excited with the idea that it's a very fair idea. That none of that would be possible unless none of that will be. Let's put it in the more stark way. None of that will be possible without the unique and, in my opinion, ingenious feature of a proof of resource altcoin called SafeCoin, intrinsically tied to the technology of the Safe network. I think that brings the level of disruption to causing buildings to fall over and countries to go away, that kind of thing. So that's just what I think. I guess we'll find out if that's certainly the document. By the way, I want to say this to anybody who is at least any degree of has any technical inclination. To have an opinion in the matter without actually reading the source documents that are plainly available on madesafe.net. That is not madesafe.org. That is madesafe.net, the official website of MadeSafe. I don't often use words like this, but I have to say shame on you if you have an opinion that isn't informed by these documents. Clearly MadeSafe is representing in their official documentation that SafeCoin will be paid 2 applications on the network. So I'm not dreaming it. I'm believing them. believing that they're representing honest, honest capabilities. David Yamanaka, sorry, David. David Yamanaka writes, if you truly want mass adoption, you need to appeal to the masses. I would suggest taking a survey of what apps people want on the Safe network. This would give developers an idea of what to build. That's a good idea. David Yamanaka, why don't you run with that? That's a great idea, man. You know, you have a good reputation on MadeSafe.org. I think we owe you a debt of gratitude already for giving us the ANT acronym. If I believe I'm correct in saying that it was your poll that I think it was settled on. I think I was settled on autonomous network technology. Am I right about in saying that? Francis, is that ANT technology, autonomous network technology?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, David, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but David put out a poll and asked what we should call that.
I think, David, to answer that question, as I was saying earlier on when we were talking in this cafe, it's like I don't think it's going to be a problem finding people. As I said before, I mean the people I know, and I know I don't want to sit here and find a fag for every musician, artist, and every creative in the world, but it isn't going to be a problem of like selling MadeSafe or this concept to them. They just want it up and running quick as possible. Yeah. You know, these are the guys who want the electric guitars, and they don't want to sit around going, you know, and that's where I look at people like Francis and developers as like, you know, with all awe and inspiration, because to me it's like, you the guys are going to give me the electric guitar so we can go away and we can invent the whole new hip hop. You know, this is what I want, you know. So I don't think what David was saying, the people are there. I don't have any fear about, oh, is this going to be a really quiet network? Because everyone I've spoken to, and I've only been on this recently, this is not one I've had come back to me and say, oh no, I must demand a centralized system. It doesn't happen. Those days are gone, you know. So to answer David's question, it's just a case of, this is where I call out to the people like Francis, and as I kept saying, I keep banging on it. Please, just give me electric guitar, man. I will rock the world, and I will. You know, all I want is electric guitar and an amp. I don't ask for much. That's all I want. I will do the rest. Trust me. We will do the rest. You know, we're here. That's what I'm trying to say. Is you know. Rock and roll didn't come around and it was like suddenly born. It was always there. This is an expression of human nature. So today's question is saying surveys and man, we're there. Just put it out and you'll find. I'll tell you what the survey will be. The free market. The free market will be the perfect survey.
I think you're wonderful. I think that's a wonderful comment. I want to give Dawn the last comment before we hang up.
Okay, no pressure then.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to pop it on you. I just wanted to, you know, this is history tonight with you being on the show, Dawn.
I think the thing is, the artists and the musicians are the trailblazers. They will go and they will bring followers. They will bring us strength for the network. That's why we're looking at this, because the more people we get on the network, the stronger it becomes, the more invincible it becomes, the more resilient it becomes, the more we can walk away from the old world, and I'm not talking about the internet as it stands today, I'm talking about the structures within our real lives will fall away, and we will just walk away. So it will be a bloodless revolution, because they'll be ruling themselves, because there'll be nobody left there for them to rule. We will all have just walked away and left them to it.
I mean it, man. That is at the heart of That is at the heart of what the 99% revolution is all about. I want to thank my guests tonight, Dawn Layton and Francis Brunel, and my co-host Tim Coomber. This is now Safe Cafe number 5, and I want to thank Rich and David Yamanaka and all the other viewers that were texting in tonight. To me, we crossed a certain threshold tonight. We solved some technology issues. By the way, anybody listening, make sure if you want to be on, you got Google Chrome, because other browsers will be a problem. But at any rate, forgetting all that, this was a great. This is like really approaching what I had in mind. People just speaking their minds and their hearts and moving on, and this program being a catalyst for people taking action to adopt the Safe Network, to say, I'm going to stand for this, and I'm going to be part of this. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We'll let you know when Safe Cafe number 6 is. I think we're going to switch to American hours to let people like David and Chadwick and others chime in, and other people in Montreal, for you, Francis, and people in San Francisco. We're going to try to alternate back and forth as much as possible. But we had a really great time, and I just want to thank everybody. Tim and Dawn, if you want to hang in there, I'd kind of like to talk to both of you. Don't hang up when we stop broadcasting. Francis, remember what I asked you. I want to know about that API, and especially get it back with me after you get back from Troon. I want to hear from you. I'm going to have you on to talk about that, okay?
Yeah.
All right. From the Startup Nation, Israel, this is David Lassoff saying thanks for being on the Safe Cafe. We'll see you for Safe Cafe number 6. Bye-bye.